I'm Zoe. On my 16th birthday, my mother Deb looked straight through me and said, "Your little brother and sister deserve this house more than you." Not need, deserve. My stepdad Gary folded his arms and smirked. "Be an adult and don't make a scene." In that moment, I wasn't a daughter, I was excess inventory. I packed 2 bags while the twins, Miles and Hannah, cried downstairs, and I realized the cruelest abuse is the kind that smiles for family photos. Ever been erased in your own home? Ever been told you're the spare part? Tell me, if it were you, would you leave or fight to stay? Drop your take below and subscribe if you're ready for the part where the woman who threw me out comes back, demanding my money. I'm Zoe, and I can tell you the exact moment my childhood ended. Not when the bills came due, not when I learned to cook dinner for myself, not even when I got my first job. It ended on a Tuesday, 8:14 p.m., in our living room, when my mother, Deb, stared straight through me and said, "Your little brother and sister deserve this house more than you." Not need. Deserve. That word didn't just land, it detonated. My stepdad Gary folded his arms like a nightclub bouncer and added, "Be an adult and don't make a scene." Have you ever been made into a problem just for existing? That was me. The family meeting felt like an HR firing. Couch perfectly centered, lights turned low, everyone speaking in fake soft voices like I was a skittish animal. I remember my heartbeat syncing with the ticking clock. I said what any terrified 16-year-old would say, "You can't legally kick me out." Gary smiled with this training video calm and told me, "No one's kicking you out. We're trusting you to read the room. Translation, leave so we don't have to say we threw you away." Deb nodded toward the hallway like she was directing a delivery guy. "Space is limited, Zoe. Money's tight. Miles and Hannah are babies. You're almost grown." The math didn't add up. They had a 4-bedroom house and my room was the smallest. But logic never stands a chance against convenience dressed up as righteousness. Here's the part I still taste at the back of my throat. Deb called me excess inventory. Not to my face. She whispered it to Gary, but loud enough that I heard. "We can't keep carrying excess inventory." Imagine being your mother's accounting mistake. In that living room, I felt myself shrinking, like my life was a t-shirt someone washed too hot. And then the grief morphed into something sharper. If you've ever been replaced in your own home, you know the feeling. The air is suddenly rented. The floor refuses to remember the weight of your steps. Even the family photos learned to avoid my eyes. So I did what they asked without asking. I packed 2 duffel bags, my sketchbook, and the threadbare bear my grandparents, Walter and June, gave me when I was 2. I waited for the sound that had become the house's soundtrack, the twins crying. While Deb shushed and Gary fetched a bottle, I slid down the stairs, praying each tread wouldn't creak. My hands shook so hard I dropped the keys twice. I stood in the doorway and took one last look at the place that taught me you can die a little without anyone noticing. I wanted someone to stop me. No one did. I walked out into a night that smelled like wet asphalt and freedom I didn't ask for. I drove to Walter and June's 1-story house, the porch light already glowing like it knew I was coming. June opened the door before I knocked. I didn't even say hello. I just collapsed into her cardigan and sobbed. Walter paced the kitchen, muttering words he saved for football games, and apparently people who hurt his granddaughter. They didn't ask for details first. They asked if I'd eaten. Then they made me a sandwich and tucked me onto the living room couch like I was made of glass. In that moment, I learned what love sounds like. "You're safe," whispered over the clink of ice in a water glass. And the next day, I enrolled in a new school. You know that first day feeling where you don't know where to sit at lunch? Multiply that by your entire life. Deb sent me a text. "Proud of you for being mature." Mature. That's the word people use when they refuse to apologize. I stared at it until it blurred. I typed, "Do you miss me?" Then I deleted it. Some questions are booby-trapped. If you're listening and your chest is tight right now, I see you. Drop a comment if you've ever been told to read the room when the room was a trap. That night taught me the cruelest abuse wears a calm voice and clean hands. The next years would teach me something else. What you do with the hurt decides who you become. Do you self-destruct, or do you build a life that makes the people who threw you out irrelevant? Keep watching, because leaving that house wasn't the end of me. It was the beginning of a girl who refused to stay disposable. And before we move on, if this hits a nerve, tap like so the algorithm knows stories like ours matter. Tell me in the comments, if it were you, would you leave quietly or fight to stay? I left, and I learned to fight somewhere else. Starting over at 16 sounds cinematic until you try it. It's not a montage with indie music, it's boring, brutal repetition. Wake up on Walter and June's couch, pretend you slept, pretend your chest isn't a fist, go to a new school with hallways that smell like bleach and unfamiliar cafeteria pizza, laugh at jokes a second late. Get it wrong, go home and work a shift bagging groceries until your feet ache. Then do homework under a thrift store lamp while June knits in the recliner and Walter accidentally leaves cash under the salt shaker. That was my life, ordinary in a way that felt heroic. I stopped waiting for apologies. I put my head down and built. I cleaned houses on weekends. I babysat for a woman who left lists as long as CVS receipts. I learned to make $12 stretch like taffy. My phone would buzz with photos from Deb, the twins at the pumpkin patch, the twins in matching pajamas. No caption, just proof. One time I replied, "Cute." She wrote back, "You're welcome," like she'd mailed me a care package instead of a bruise. So I turned off notifications and stuck a post-it on my mirror. No one is coming. Be the person who shows up. If you've ever had to parent your own heart, you get it. When college applications rolled around, my guidance counselor used the words financial aid and work study like life's rafts. I filled out forms with Walter at the kitchen table, his reading glasses sliding down his nose. We did it together, even the parts that made me cry, like listing a parent who wouldn't even sign a permission slip, let alone a loan. My Uncle Ray, the brave one, agreed to co-sign a tiny piece, just enough to tip the scale. He said, "I believe in you, I just can't carry you." That sentence felt like respect. Deb declined to help, citing fairness to Miles and Hannah. Fairness. The word hung in the air like a bad perfume. College was noisy and lonely at the same time. I worked in the library early mornings and a coffee shop late nights. I learned the geometry of exhaustion, how to fold an hour into a nap and a nap into a day. I took on the classes nobody wanted, stats at 8 a.m., the group project where everyone disappears. I found one friend, Tessa, who could spot a fake smile and didn't let me wear one too long. Therapy would have helped, but therapy was 3 digits I didn't have. So I therapied myself with long walks, scribbled letters I never sent, and playlists that understood. Still, the hurt leaked. I'd see a mom hugging her daughter at move-in weekend and feel something rupture. I'd fail one quiz and spiral. Maybe Deb was right, maybe I'm the extra part. When that happened, I set a timer for 10 minutes and let myself feel horrible on purpose, cry, curse, wonder why. At minute 11, I'd push the chair back and say out loud, "We keep going." It sounds cheesy. Cheesy saved me. After graduation, I took the job no one else wanted. Junior analyst at a tech company undergoing its 5th reorg. Translation, chaos, bad coffee, and a chance to matter. I over-prepared for everything. If they asked for a spreadsheet, I brought 3 versions and a mini deck. I learned to make ugly data tell the truth. I volunteered for the weekend deployments and the bug triage no one touched. People called me intense. I heard alive. Promotions followed slowly, then all at once. Junior to analyst, analyst to senior, senior to manager, manager to director. Every step paid off a piece of debt, then bought a secondhand couch, then, after years, a small house with a lemon tree in the yard. I put a bench by the window and promised myself I'd only cry there for good reasons. Did the ache disappear? No, it just learned manners. It stopped interrupting and waited its turn. When I got the email naming me director, I sat very still. It felt like someone slid the puzzle piece into place, only to reveal there was a bigger puzzle around it. I called Uncle Ray first. He said, "Knew it." I almost texted Deb. Almost. Instead, I sent Walter and June a video of the lemon tree. June replied with a string of lemon emojis and, "Come for dinner." If you're out there grinding with no safety net, hear me. It's not pretty, but it's possible. Hurt can be fuel if you burn it clean. Like this, if you've ever turned a no into a plan. Share this with someone who needs proof that alone isn't the same as finished. And tell me in the comments, what did you build after someone called you disposable? And then just when my life finally felt steady, the past knocked on my front door, smiling like it owned the place. It happened on a bright Saturday, the kind that makes the lemon tree glow. Doorbell. I checked the camera and froze. Deb and Gary on my porch, both wearing that urgent but reasonable face people adopt when they want something expensive. I opened the door because old habits die last. Deb didn't bother with small talk. "We heard you're doing very well," she said, eyes scanning my living room like an appraiser. Gary added, "Kinda disappointing you didn't share your success with family." Family. The word scraped. I invited them in because I'm polite, even when I shouldn't be. Deb perched on the edge of my sofa like it might stain her. "Miles and Hannah are heading to college," she began. "And given everything I sacrificed for you, it would be appropriate for you to cover their tuition. Consider it, giving back." There it was, the invoice for a childhood I never received. My laugh came out wrong. "You mean the childhood where I was excess inventory?" Gary flinched. Deb didn't. "Don't be dramatic, Zoe. We prioritized the children who needed us." I said, "You said they deserved the house more than me." Deb's eyes hardened. "You're successful because I was tough on you." Here's where I wish I delivered a perfect speech, but what came out was simpler. "No." Gary leaned forward, hands steepled. "You're in a position to help. Don't punish the twins for old misunderstandings." Misunderstandings, like replacing your kid, counts as a typo. I stood. "This conversation is over. Leave." Deb's smile curdled. "You are ungrateful. After everything I did, you fed your child when she was a child." I said, "That's not a favor. That's the minimum." They left with a flurry of threats about telling everyone and family obligations. I locked the door, then sat on the floor because the couch felt too soft for this kind of anger. The email started the next day, new addresses every time I blocked one. Subject lines like "be reasonable" and "final attempt." Paragraphs about how diapers were expensive and how I owe the family a return on investment. She attached photos of Miles and Hannah next to tuition breakdowns. She CC'd Gary, then unCC'd him, then CC'd him again. It was like being haunted by a grant application. When the emails didn't move me, Deb escalated. She showed up at my office building. I wasn't there by luck, but security called to say a woman claiming to be my mother demanded a meeting about money she's owed. Owed. The word made my jaw ache. I called Deb and kept my voice flat. "If you come to my job again, I will file for a restraining order." She hung up after calling me heartless. That bought a week. Then one evening, I pulled into my driveway and saw Deb's car idling at the curb. I didn't get out. I sat with my hands on the wheel until my courage arrived. When I finally stepped onto the driveway, Deb slammed her door and marched toward me, shouting, "You owe me! You owe your family!" I lifted my phone and said, "Leave or I call the police." Something snapped. She grabbed my arm. The phone flew. We went down hard. She clawed and screamed, "Ungrateful! I made you tough." Here's the thing about trauma. You learn your body's emergency language. Mine said, "Stop this. Now." I got her off me. Neighbors poured out. Someone yelled they'd called 911. Deb kept screaming until the sirens cut through it. I pressed charges. I did it shaking. Then I did it steady. A restraining order followed. Courts understand what emails plus driveway equals. Gary moved in with his parents and took the twins. Walter and June told Deb, kindly but firmly, that their door was no longer open. Choices have edges. She'd finally found them all at once. I wish I could tell you that I celebrated. I didn't. I made tea and sat by the lemon tree and cried for the girl who thought making herself smaller would make her lovable. I cried for Miles and Hannah too, because none of this is their fault. And then I did something the old Zoe wouldn't have done. I breathed, I called a lawyer, and I kept my life moving. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors with locks. You decide who gets a key. If you needed to hear that, like this, share it with the friend who keeps choosing their peace second. And tell me in the comments, what's the hardest boundary you've ever had to set with family? I read your stories, we hold each other up here. Deb once said I was excess inventory. Now I'm surplus joy. I have a job I'm proud of, a home I pay for, and mornings where the first decision I make is which mug I want. The restraining order stands. The lemon tree keeps blooming. And if you've been erased, listen close. You are not the extra part. You are the reason the machine ever worked. Subscribe if you want more stories where the ending isn't vengeance. It's freedom. Here's where I land. I don't wake up craving revenge. I wake up wanting quiet. The lemon tree, coffee steam, a day I built. I pressed charges, set a boundary, and chose not to finance the twins because I won't buy my way back into a family that priced me out at 16. Some nights I still hear Deb's voice, excess inventory, and my chest gets tight. But then I hear my voice, steadier. I am not the extra part. I am the person who kept going. Tell me honestly, am I in the wrong? Was it cold to say no or warm to myself? My takeaway is simple. Love without safety is a trap. Boundaries are how love gets oxygen. You can grieve what you didn't get and still refuse to hand over your peace. If this story hit something raw, hit like so it reaches someone who needs it. Drop your take in the comments as what would you have done on that porch? Share this with a friend who's relearning family. Subscribe if you want more endings where the win isn't drama, it's freedom. And if you're standing at a door like I was, you're allowed to keep your key.